Hey everyone, it's Kazlo, and welcome back to my channel. It's time for the next segment of my RPG Club playthrough of Persona 3 Reload. But what is the RPG Club? I've been an avid listener of the podcast The RPG Years, and its predecessor podcasts, The RPG Golden Years and The RPG After Years. The podcast focuses on RPG reviews and news. They regularly do a community event known as the RPG Club. Imagine a book club, but for RPGs. They break up a community-chosen RPG into digestible chunks, usually about 5 hours, and discuss those segments every 2 weeks like a book club. If you want to check out the RPG Years, you can find a link in the description below. After rescuing Fuka at the end of the last segment, the team spends some time recovering while Fuka remains in the hospital. Once she wakes up, Cease debriefs her about what happened inside Tartarus and invites her to officially join the team. Fuka agrees, taking on the role of navigator and providing support rather than fighting on the front lines. Around the same time, Chairman Ikutsuki gives the team new combat equipment and introduces a new ability called Theurgy. Each Persona user can build up a Theurgy gauge during battle and unleash a powerful character-specific attack once it fills. Finally, since Fuka will be handling support duties, Mitsuru decides to join the team in combat, giving Cease another frontline fighter. The team puts the new system to the test during another expedition into Tartarus. While exploring, they encounter a strange distortion, which separates the group. During the expedition, Yukari begins thinking about her role on the team. She's grown tired of watching everyone else put themselves in danger to protect her, and that frustration gives her the motivation to unleash her own Theurgy ability. On June 20th, Mitsuru mentions that she has a meeting with Chairman Utsukutsu that evening. When the protagonist returns to the dorm, he encounters a strange dog waiting outside, Koromaru. Before the team can learn much about him, they head into their meeting with Ikutsuki. There, the chairman reveals something that changes the way the team understands the full moon shadows. The powerful shadows they've been encountering do not appear to be random monsters. He believes they represent a larger pattern, and if the team can defeat all 12 of them, they may finally be able to eliminate the Dark Hour and destroy Tartarus. 2 days later, we get a scene where a man awakens inside a coffin during the Dark Hour. A group of people led by a pale young man surrounds him. They accuse the man of causing suffering in the past, and claim they've come to deliver revenge on behalf of his victims. They operate a mysterious website where people can request revenge against others. They shoot the man and leave him for dead. Around that same time, Akihiko attempts to recruit an old friend, Shinjiro Aragaki, back into the team. Shinjiro once fought alongside Cease, but abandoned the group after a tragic incident. Akihiko wants him back, but Shinjiro has little interest in returning. Meanwhile, Yukari asks Fuka to investigate reports of children who disappeared approximately 10 years ago. The investigation seems unrelated to the team's current mission, but the timing is significant because the disappearances occurred around the same period as the incident that created Tartarus. When the next full moon arrives, Cease travels to a hotel where they detect a powerful shadow. The team enters the building and begins searching for it, eventually reaching a strange room on the 3rd floor. Inside, they encounter and defeat the Hierophant Arcana Shadow. However, after defeating the shadow, Fuka detects another shadow is in the room. Investigating the room leads to a strange mirror that the team touches before immediately shifting to a strange scene of Yukari showering in one of the hotel rooms before she comes out to find the protagonist in her room. The shadow appears to manipulate the team's desires, trying to distract and disorient them rather than simply overpowering them. Eventually, the team breaks through the temptations and make their way back to the 3rd floor, but having to break some mirrors along the way to unlock barriers. Returning to the 3rd floor room, the team finds the Lover's Arcana, who's been exploiting the team's emotions and desires. The battle becomes another test of C's ability to remain focused while being inflicted with a charm by the shadow. After defeating the Lover's Shadow, the team leaves the hotel, but unbeknownst to them, the 3 people, led by a young, pale man, watch from a distance. On July 11th, the chairman calls the team together to discuss what they've discovered. Yukari finally confronts Mitsuru about the secrets she's been keeping from everyone. Mitsuru finally reveals what she's been keeping from them. 14 years earlier, her grandfather and the Kirijo group began experimenting with shadows. Their goal was to harness shadow energy and use it to create a machine capable of manipulating time. However, the experiments went horribly wrong. The Kirijo group's attempt to collect and control shadows caused a catastrophic accident approximately 10 years earlier. The explosion devastated the research facility, killed numerous people, and fundamentally altered the surrounding area, creating Tartarus and the Dark Hour. The next day, Mitsuru asks Fuka to hack into the Kirijo group's database to uncover more information about the accident. The scene then shifts to Yukari, who's sitting with a letter written by her father, revealing he had just been appointed as head researcher for a Kirijo project. Around the same time, Ferris comes to the protagonist during the Dark Hour and reveals that the protagonist's parents also died in the explosion 10 years earlier. As the group approaches their final exams, the chairman suggests that everyone take a trip to Yakushima, where Mitsuru's father, Takaharu Kirijo, is currently staying for business. The team finishes their finals and then heads south for a much-needed vacation. At the Kirijo family's vacation home, the team gets a brief break from Tartarus. Junpei, naturally, becomes far more interested in the girls' swimsuits than the island's history, while the rest of the group enjoys some rare time away from the dark hour. While at the vacation home, the team meets with Takaharu Kirijo, Mitsuru's father. He explains more about the research conducted by his father in the Kirijo group. The original project attempted to create a device capable of manipulating time by harnessing the power of shadows. He also shows the team archival footage from the night of the accident, showing Yukari's father leading the research. This revelation devastates Yukari. She spent years believing that her father died in an accident, but she now learns that he played a central role in the experiment that caused the disaster. She runs off, but the protagonist tracks her down on the beach and comforts her. The next day, Junpei remains distracted by the possibility of meeting girls on the beach, and challenges the protagonist and Akihiro to a contest in flirting. At the same time, the girls learn of an experimental anti-shadow weapon that's escaped from the Kirijo facility, and are tasked to be on the lookout for it. Eventually, Junpei and the boys encounter a mysterious young woman on the beach pier. After a series of awkward attempts by the boys to talk to her, she suddenly runs away, claiming she needs to perform evasive maneuvers. The team follows her into the forest, where they confront the girl and meet up with the other girls. It turns out the woman isn't actually human. She's Aegis, an anti-shadow weapon created by the Kirijo group. She's been searching for the protagonist and claims that her purpose is to remain by his side. Takaharu ultimately assigns Aegis to Seize, giving the team another member. While the vacation wraps up, the scene returns to town, where Senjiro encounters the three members led by the pale young man in an alley. They appear to supply him with a mysterious drug and pressure him for information about Seize. The group refers to Tartarus as the Tower of Demise, and makes its position clear. They do not want Seize to destroy the Dark Hour. Eventually, they tell Shinjiro that they will have to confront Seize directly. On July 29th, another shadow appears in the city during the Dark Hour, but outside of a normal full moon period. Seize isn't the first to reach it, however. Instead, the dog, Karumaru, has attacked and defeated the shadow on his own. Unfortunately, the victory leaves Karumaru injured, and Seize drops him off with a vet for treatment. During the next full moon, Fuka tracks the next Arcana shadow to an abandoned underground military facility, and the team investigates it to find the shadow. Before they can fully explore the facility, the pale young man and his team arrive. The group soon reveals itself as Strega, a trio of Persona users who've chosen to embrace the Dark Hour rather than destroy it. They've built their lives around the power of Personas and the Dark Hour, and ending it would mean losing the abilities that give them purpose. However, rather than simply fighting the team directly, Strega manipulates the situation and traps everyone inside the facility. Before looking for an escape route, Seize decides to track down the Arcana shadow first. Eventually, they track the shadow down in the form of a powerful tank. However, Fuka reveals it's actually a pair of powerful shadows that have combined, the Chariot and Justice Arcana shadows. The two enemies possess a unique ability that allows them to revive each other unless the team defeats them simultaneously. After coordinating attacks, the team defeats the shadows, and Mitsuru manages to contact the chairman and explain the situation. He tells Mitsuru that he will find someone to retrieve them from the facility, and after rescue, the team returns to the dorm to rest and recover. And that's it for this segment of Persona 3. Well, another segment down, and honestly, we still didn't get all that much story. Sure, a lot happened, but most of it feels like setup for a story that's just getting started. The monthly full moon missions especially feel like they just happen. The game gives us very little build-up beforehand. We show up, fight a shadow, and then wait another month for the next one. Combine that with the fact that I keep running out of meaningful things to do between those full moon events, I'm starting to get a little frustrated with the pacing. I spend a few days plowing through Tartarus, hit the current roadblock, and then spend the rest of the month watching the calendar crawl towards the next story event. There's clearly a bigger mystery brewing, but the game is making me work pretty hard to stay interested while I wait for it to actually develop. That said, it's hard to complain too much about a beach episode. The beach trip has practically become a Persona tradition at this point, and Persona 3 certainly understands that assignment to start the tradition. We get swimsuits, Junpei embarrassing himself, and a surprisingly important story development hiding underneath all the vacation nonsense. We also get some new equipment during this section, and I have to say, it looks pretty phenomenal. However, the real gameplay challenge of this section came during the full moon fight against the Lovers Archon. This boss constantly tries to charm the party, and unfortunately, I went into the fight woefully unprepared. I didn't bring nearly enough items to cure charm, which meant I spent most of the battle waiting for the status effect to wear off, so I could squeeze in whatever offense I could. It was ugly, but I eventually won. Nothing like a boss teaching you the value of status effect cures by repeatedly beating you over the head with them. The game also introduces several new gameplay systems during this stretch. First, there's dungeon scouting, where Fuka will suggest one of your party members scout ahead. That character temporarily leaves the party, but they can uncover items and information and potentially save you some time exploring the floor. I like this system because it creates a simple risk-reward decision. Do you sacrifice a party member for a little while, in exchange for potentially making your trip through Tartarus easier? Then we have Theurgy attacks, which are basically this game's version of limit breaks. They're not particularly necessary during normal encounters, but against tougher enemies and bosses, they can absolutely shred through a health bar. In fact, Theurgy made a huge difference during the Chariot and Justice fight. We also get some new optional content inside Tartarus, in the form of monad doors and monad passages. These lead to tougher encounters, but the extra challenge comes with better rewards, including crafting materials. And then there's the strange clock mechanic, which lets you boost the level of party members who have fallen behind. So while I'm still struggling with the pacing of the story, I have to give Persona 3 credit on the gameplay side. The further I get, the more systems the game introduces to make exploration of Tartarus more interesting. I'm just hoping the story eventually catches up with the gameplay, because right now, Tartarus has given me plenty to do, while the plot is just standing in the corner checking its watch. So that's it for this segment of the RPG Club. If you want to follow along with the club, be sure to hit that subscribe button to see new videos when they are posted. Additionally, if you want to check me out elsewhere, I have links to my Twitch, Twitter, and Discord in the description below. See you all next time!